Bill, is everyone that was in the waiting room brought in?
Yes, everyone's in from the waiting room. I would ask Amy that Robin Clark is our court reporter today. She has not been with our board before. If at any point we definitely need to be off the record, can you please just note that?
Yes.
So that she's aware. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the Board of Building Standards meeting for December 21st, 2023. Our first case is 1940. I'm sorry, we're going to skip the first case because we need another board member here. I'll be recusing myself from that one. The second case is at 184 Cotton Street. Can I ask who's here for Cotton Street?
William O'Brien on behalf of the owner.
Okay, is the owner not here?
I believe they're going to be calling in if they're not. There's an iPhone. I don't know if that's.
I'm here. Andrew Molson is the iPhone.
Okay.
Okay. Andrew, are you going to be testifying?
No.
Okay, then I don't need to swear anybody in. All right.
Except for Tom.
Oh, Tom Revachowski, yes. Tom, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Bill, can you read it in?
Yes, this case is MI 2023-006-865 for the property located at 184 Cotton Street.
All right, I'm going to ask Tom Revachowski, representing the city, to go first.
Wait,
Excuse me, Amy, can I just, I was just gonna say, can we have the owner put his camera on and state and spell his name for the record so that the court reporter knows that he's here?
Sure.
And Amy, we need to introduce ourselves.
Okay. I'm Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Philip Mata, Boards Administration.
Jay Scaria, Department of License and Inspections.
Thomas Rybakowski, City of Philadelphia License and Inspections.
Daniel Burke, Survey and Regulator, 9th Survey District.
Okay. Can the owner of 184 Cotton identify themselves and spell your name?
I am one of the owners of 184 Cotton. My name is Andrew Molson, M-U-L-S-O-N.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank
And
you.
who was the surveyor? I think that called out.
That's me, Daniel Burke, Survey and Regulator, 9th Survey District.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Revachowski.
So what I have is this appeal is in response to a unsafe designation for the property at 184 Cotton Street. The unsafe designation actually goes back to June of 2017, prior to the appellant's ownership of the property. I have had communications with the ownership representative, Mr. O'Brien, this past Tuesday and then yesterday as well. Essentially what you have is you have a throughway, or the Cotton Street, which this property fronts on, which is a street but is essentially a staircase that leads between Tower Street and Boone Street in the Roxborough-Manayunk section of the city. You have a retaining wall that, by way of a memorandum and the survey district has determined, by way of a determination letter, that responsibility for this retaining wall falls on the two properties on Boone Street, which would be 4334 and 4334 and a half Boone, and also 184 Cotton. In communication with the owner representation back in, let me see if I have the dates correctly. Back on April 19th of 2018, this property was actually adjudicated at the L&I Review Board prior to this appellant taking ownership of the property. In fact, in which that board granted a variance for a 120-day stay of enforcement with the action of city affirmed. That said, in communications with the representation today, there's impending new construction that is going to be taking place at this site. And it is my understanding that 2 new buildings are going to be constructed in the 184 Cotton Street parcel. Our concern is that the impending demolition and new construction will affect or negatively affect this retaining wall in that it could lead to the potential collapse of this stone foundation. So in preparation for that, we are willing to grant city affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement, with the proviso that the board allow the application of a demolition, new construction, and make safe permit so that they can be all submitted at the same time for the repair and the new construction at this property. That's pretty much what we're here for.
Okay, Mr. O'Brien, you want to respond?
I just want to make sure that I understand, Tom. What you're suggesting is that the make safe. So let me back up and give some context. This unsafe condition was described in a memo from the former survey district supervisor, John Parkinson, in a memo 15 years ago. It was considered really, really imminently dangerous 15 years ago. It wasn't cited until 2017, 6 years ago. There are actually 2 unsafe conditions affecting this address. One is the house, and the other is this wall. We made an application, DP 2023-000828, to correct what we thought was the only violation affecting the address, and that was the house. The zoning review of that application resulted in a request that we address the other unsafe condition, and that is this retaining wall. The reason why, the retaining wall is not on 184 Cotton. It is very close, probably within a foot of 184 Cotton Street. Referring back to the memo that Tom gave me a couple days ago, Mr. Parkinson goes through great detail identifying the location of the wall, and then expresses at the end his opinion that the reconstruction should be borne by the owners, and then says, and also 184 Cotton Street, the abutting property owner on the lower side of the wall. Well, we don't agree with that opinion, but it serves no purpose to litigate that issue. We're 6 months have passed because the department's policy is not to accept our zoning and subdivision application to get our development process started. The department's policy is they won't accept that until this is resolved. So we want to move forward, which will include a permanent solution to the retaining wall, but we don't want more delay. So, Tom, are you suggesting that our subdivision and zoning plans are ready to go? I could submit them today. Are you suggesting that the department not accept those plans until we submit a make safe application?
So my thing is so that everybody has the same, basically is reading the same book, same chapter, same page, and what is going on with the property and how it can impact the wall, and just for life safety to make sure that nothing happens to any of the workers or any of the construction or any of the property. That way, all the documentation would be submitted into the department and be basically reviewed by the same reviewer, so that all the situations are all on the same book.
And we're in agreement with that, but we have to put this in context. There will be no workers on site for at least 6-7 months. This is going to go to the zoning board. No development, no construction plans will be submitted until and unless we get zoning approval. So we'll agree to submit a make safe permit within the next 30 days. We'll get a structural engineer. We'll see what needs to be done to make it safe so that when we hopefully get our zoning permit and get our building permit and start construction, there is no risk to anybody on site. But we want to get the process started. There's nobody's going to be on site to while L&I is reviewing our zoning plans and why the zoning board is considering our appeal.
So with that said, with the proviso or with the board ruling for city affirmed 120-day stay of enforcement, that gives you plenty of time to submit everything, get everything in. And with that said, it shouldn't be an issue. You shouldn't get it kicked back. And especially knowing that in attendance to today's hearing is a representative of the department and the plan review process, they would be fully abreast of what's going on at this location.
Okay, because the Eclipse has some proclivities, and I've Eclipse is going to recognize this address as unresolved, unsafe conditions, and it will be like hitting a brick wall. Jason, what do you think?
Right. So while you're submitting the dangerous case, you have to do that in person, but with other issues, when you get in the stop, when you're submitting for other applications, like for zoning, I would just give you the contact information of Shondell, and they will help you file for the application.
Online through Eclipse?
It should be through online through Eclipse. They should be able to walk you through it through a Zoom call.
Okay, and we can do that as soon as next week.
Yeah, depending on her schedule. Yes.
Okay. And then we'll have within 120 days, but sooner than that, we will have retained a structural engineer and have filed a make safe permit.
Okay.
And then
I mean, the whole idea is to get the dangerous case taken care of while you're doing zoning concurrently, correct?
right. And I had urged a member of your department to allow this 6 months ago, and oh no, we can't do that. And the other thing I would ask is that the pending demolition permit for the other unsafe condition, which is now in limbo because this is unresolved, that review proceed.
There was a full demolition. It's been expired because there has been no movement for more than 10 days. That was from September 7th.
We weren't allowed to do anything. We got a request for
no, meaning like you're supposed to resubmit information to him within 10 business days.
Right. And the request was, what's your solution for this retaining wall?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is, it's not our wall.
Okay.
So again, we're coming full circle, but I'd like to get everything moving forward.
Okay. So submit the application for the dangerous case, and then I'll see what we can do with the existing application that you have on file with Ida Estrada, and then we'll proceed there.
The application for let's get our numbers right.
It's 8/28, 2023, 8/28.
Yeah, that's the pending application for the house, but the make safe permit to address case number 588577.
What's that application number?
That has not been submitted, but the city's saying they're going to hold off for 120 days. We're going to file the make safe application within that period, hopefully a lot sooner. Okay. But in the meantime, the zoning and subdivision plans can be submitted, reviewed. And
that's going to be the proviso given by the board. Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks for everybody's patience.
And so is the board also allowing the demolition of the house?
Well, that permit application, if it can take its process, I don't know what structural elements, I don't know what safety, there may be a reason not to touch the house until the wall is secure. I'm not a structural engineer.
Well, that would be kind of like a means and methods, I think. But
right.
I guess this right now we're saying we'll allow the make safe of the wall to happen, and we're going to allow the demolition of the building to happen, and allow the zoning process to proceed all at the same time.
Right. Right. And we'll make sure that nobody goes on site unless and until there is a permit in place to make things safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need, our chairman unfortunately has been delayed due to a funeral. He should be walking in any minute, but we can't start the first hearing for North Second Street until he's here, because I'm going to be recusing myself, and then we would only have one board member at the time.
I think it makes more sense.
Can we pause the recording?
All right, let's start the recording. Okay, is the recording started?
Yes, sir.
Okay, whomever's going to be testifying in the case, please raise your right hand. Tom, we'll start out with you first. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Kelly, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, my name's Wayne Miller. I'm a board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Is that it? Okay. Bill, put that into the record, please.
Yes, sir. This is case number 1 on today's list, MI 2023-007-109 for the property 1949 through 1953 North 2nd Street. The appellant is Kelly Straka, and she's present in the room today.
Okay. Tom, could you tell us a little bit about this case, please?
What we have is we have a property at 1949 North 2nd Street. It's a rather large commercial property that has been cited as unsafe for conditions of a side wall. By way of sending notice, there was an appeal that was filed to the board for today's hearing. That appeal was filed on January 7th of 2023 with the additional information as, and I'm sure the board has that appeal filing in their paperwork, but just as a matter of record, I just received notice of the violation 1/4/23 and immediately contacted a structural engineer. The engineer went out 1/6/23 and is working on the report. I no longer live at the mailing address, so I had not previously received the notices and just want send some of the mail. I am acting as quickly as possible to have this resolved. The area of concern is currently fenced and is as in it is the neighbor's vacant lot and there is no access to the public. I'm asking for an extension for the engineer and contractor to correct the wall. Subsequently, after this filing, there has been communication by the department with the owner by way that there was the intention of selling this property and time was granted for the sale to take place with no new deed at it and no representation that a sale actually happened for the property. So basically we're ascertaining to the board and asking that a make safe permit or the sale of the property, whatever the owner wants to do with the property, take place within the next 60 days.
Okay. Kelly, did you hear that?
Yes, I did. So, as he stated, the building has been under contract twice with 2 different developers who plan to demo the building. The second contract just recently fell through again, which is why there's been this limbo period of actually completing the work or selling the property and having it fully demoed. With the second one falling through, I don't know what's going to happen. So at this point, whatever needs to be done, I don't know that it's going to be demoed by another developer anytime soon.
Do we have any pictures to show us what the issue is?
Yes, I'll share my screen and show the pictures. In the meantime, Ms. Straka, what is your intentions with the building? Are you looking to repair or to sell the property or to demolish the property?
I'm looking to sell it.
Okay.
And as a
There's
question.
no
Yes,
no
I
one's no one is in there occupying the property. And the wall that is in question is a party wall that is exposed to an open lot, which is all fenced in. So there's not really anybody that's like coming in contact with it. No one's in the building or anything. It's kind of just sitting there right now. But that's why I just wasn't sure what to do with it, because it's a pretty expensive repair to get done for a building that's gonna probably be demoed.
Yeah, have you actually had the cost of repairs priced, or and what sort of order of magnitude are we talking about?
About 20,000.
So unfortunately, for some reason, the system's not allowing me to share my screen. The issue with the property is the side wall that is adjacent to a vacant lot. You can visually see the wall on or this property on the city's Atlas website to illustrate the conditions of the property. It's basically the side load-bearing wall of the property. That is the area of concern. My position with the appellant is ultimately you're looking to not repair the property, you're looking to sell the property. We can't guarantee that there's going to be a buyer within the next 2 months. The next option is to allow the department to demolish the property. We would send you the invoice of that demolition, and then you could come into payment arrangements with the department. Then you could potentially sell the lot at whatever time and when you get that information. That is also an option that is open. You could express that with the department to do that. But essentially, we'd be looking for a make safe permit or something of that nature within the next 60 days.
I understand. Yeah, the problem is I've had some people that want to buy the building, leave it, reinforce it, and utilize the existing building, and others that want to fully demo it. So that's why the person that was buying it was going to demo it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do anything with it. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So I understand the position that you're in. I guess at this point, without having a concrete plan or buyer of what they're going to do with it, then getting the make safe permit sounds like probably the better option.
So with that said, I would be willing to say to the board that I'd be willing to push this out 90 days to either have a make safe permit or a demolition permit for the repair or demolition of the property. If not, then the department could potentially move forward with the demolition in 90 days.
Okay.
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
You okay with that, Kelly?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, good deal.
That makes sense.
That makes
All right,
sense.
thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate
great.
it.
You're welcome. Okay. Okie dokie, that's good. All right, who's here from 1650 Market Street? Tell me your first names.
Laura Sullivan.
All right, Laura. Who else?
Just myself.
Oh, just
Yes.
just yourself.
Yes.
That's easy. Laura, are you a lawyer?
I am not.
Okay,
I'm an architect.
I will have to swear you in then.
Okay.
All right. So we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay. Recording on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Laura, could you please raise your right hand? Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
Philip
John
Motto,
Dime.
Boards Administration. I'm sorry.
John Dimes Fire Code.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License Inspections.
Okay, that's everybody. Phil, could you read that into the record, please?
Yes, sir. This is MI 2023-006-689 for the property located at 1650 Market Street, floor 38. The appellant is Laura Sullivan, and she's present in the room.
Okay, Laura, want to tell us what's going on?
Sure, this was a continuance from the last meeting. The board came back and offered a couple different options to achieve compliance for the three-level stair, connecting stair. The client has agreed to add the draft stop and the smoke detectors as recommended by the board.
Is that everything the board recommended?
I know we recommended the draft stop.
Okay. Uh-huh. I think I have your proposed, three-level stairs with enclosed, with the 2-hour rated enclosure and 90-minute doors at the lowest
Correct.
level.
Which will remain, yes.
Okay, and then you're gonna put the smoke draft, in, right?
Yes, so smoke detector on inside and outside of the door that's on closures, and then a draft stop around the level, around the floor level at 39, or sorry, at the floor level of 40. Let me share my screen.
That was all the issues, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you complied. So is there anything else?
Let's look at the
Aim,
screen.
Ted?
Let's look at,
I think the only other issue was that the draft stop is below the required 7'6" height. So the board was going to grant a variance for the lower height for that as well, since the floors are challenged on height.
Yes, we said that. Yeah, we'll grant that variance.
Okay.
So what you're actually gonna do is do it that way rather than try to raise the ceiling area and that.
Yeah, we unfortunately we don't have the ceiling, or we don't have the space in the ceiling to accommodate the mechanical system and raise the ceiling and add the draft stop.
Yeah.
Aim, Ted, you good with that?
Yes.
let's have her show her,
Oh, sure. I
I
can
guess,
share
the
my screen.
revised rendering.
Okay.
So if I recall, we had walls from the 38th floor up to the underside of the 39th floor, correct?
Correct. So from 38 to 39, we have the 2-hour rated enclosure with the door, the rated door on hold opens.
Okay.
We'll add the smoke detector on the outside and on the inside. And then at the floor, below the floor level of level 40, we'll add the 18-inch draft stop around the entire opening. So this blue level, or this blue line around this floor opening at level 40 kind of indicates the extent of where that draft stop will need to be. And then if we want to see some updated views of that.
So in theory, if there was a fire on the 38th floor, it would be contained because those doors would be closed, so nothing would come up.
Correct.
And then any fire on the 39th floor, the draft stop would try to prevent smoke from going up to the 40th.
Correct.
Yep.
Now, your rendering doesn't show those curved corners, but
Yeah, it was a quick rendering just to let the client know kind of how low that the draft stop would be.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And we're not asking for anything at the 40th. Below the 40th.
Right.
That's at kind of the top of the.
Oh, at the top here. The ceiling does pop up 6 inches at this location, but I don't know that a draft stop at that location, there's nowhere for it to stop the smoke from going at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. We good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ted?
Yes.
Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Phil, can we read that continuance into the record now? Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to do just now. This is a housekeeping matter.
Perfect.
This is for item number 3, MI 2023-006-692 for the property located at 5200 Unruh Avenue, UNRUH. That item has been continued to January 25th.
Phil, I think that when you read it out, 006-692, there was two sixes in there. It should have been.
I'm sorry.
Get that?
MI 2023-006-692 for 5200 Unruh.
Okay, okay, I got it. I was looking at the wrong one. I'm sorry. Okay, gotcha. Okay, good.
The appellants are here for the next matter. If you want to move on to that one, or do we need a moment?
No, we're ready to go.
Okay.
Ready to go. The next one is 8803 Torresdale Avenue.
Yes, sir.
And who's here for 8803 Torresdale Avenue?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Harry Cook for appellant. With me is Derek Penson, the applicant, as well as Ian Toner, the architect.
Okay, who's going to be testifying?
I'm going to do a little intro and then Mr. Toner will be testifying.
Okay, Mr. Toner. Okay. All right. No one else, just you and Mr. Toner.
Just call Derek Penson to adopt testimony.
Okay.
If Miss Emerson thinks that's relevant.
All right. All right, here we go.
That is fine if you'd like to. That is fine.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna Harry, you a lawyer?
Yeah, I'm in order. I'm ready to share screen.
Okay, we don't have to swear you in. The next guy, Garrett, is going to be testifying. Garrett, could you please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mr. Cook, can you stop sharing right now?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just clarifying that it's Derek Penson, not Garrett Penson.
Oh, Derek, I'm sorry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, good job, man. All right, that's it. All right, I'm Wayne
No,
Miller,
you
board
have to
member.
swear in Ian Toner also.
Oh. All right, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do. Yes.
Okay, all right, guys. Anyone else?
That's
All
it.
right. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License and Inspections.
Okay, Phil, you want to read that into the record?
Yes, sir. This is MI 2023-007-124 for the property at 8803 Torresdale Avenue. Harry Cook Esquire is the appellant. He's present in the room.
Okay, all right, whoever's going to start off, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So we're here today with Mr. Penson, who is a long-haul truck driver. He has a food cart at 8803 Torresdale Avenue. It's a Torresdale Plaza. It is a location, just for site context purposes, that services trucking. There's truck parking, there's truck retail and commercial services. And Mr. Penson has a food truck right about here in this area I'm drawing. Okay. Here are some photos of the food cart. Runs up against Torresdale Ave. Here's a side picture.
That's been there. That's been there for a while, Harry.
Yes, it has been. And Derek is Mr. Penson is the new owner of that truck and the new tenant there. Now, he has not been operational for quite some time. And the reason he's not operational is because you see these little jacks down here, and you see the electrical hookup here.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's going to be there for more than 180 days, it now classifies as a Group B takeout restaurant, which then subjects it to the 2018 IBC. Now, we've been through several reviews with L&I to try and get it as close to the 2018 IBC as we can, and Mr. Toner will speak to that. But this is a purpose-created food cart. The fact that within 10 minutes, these jacks can be removed, Pico can be called to disconnect, it could be moved 10 feet. By its very nature, it is not a permanent structure. We had to go for an accessibility an accessibility hearing for ADA variances. And at that hearing at the Department of Labor and Standards, they determined, because of the look of it and the use of it, and just using their common sense, that this was not a permanent structure. And I have here their determination on that particular finding of fact regarding permanence. It says, upon the recommendation of the Pennsylvania Accessibility Advisory Board, the designated secretary, Department of Labor and Industry has ruled the following. Variance request, requesting a variance from the subsection that is also related to the permanence of 180 days. It's there for the record. This vehicle is exempt as a food concession trailer due to its limited size, location, and use. We would hope that this board would see it the same way, that this particular vehicle is not does not have a permanent foundation, is movable. Just because it's going to be there more than 180 days doesn't mean it has to be there more than 180 days. And at least for the issue of the finding of fact as to permanence, and for just purposes of the record, before I hand it over to Ian, we also feel that that discrete finding binds this board on supremacy grounds, being that as a state agency. With that, I don't want to, take up too much of the board's time. Ian can go into some of the efforts we made to comply with the board, but I do want just to have Mr. Penson adopt my testimony, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Derek Penson, are you
Yes,
there?
Mr. Cook. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Did you hear and see my presentation to the board today?
Yes, I did, sir.
Is it true and accurate to the best of your understanding and knowledge?
Yes, sir, it is.
You adopt it as your own testimony?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. If the board has any questions of me or Derek in his operation, I'm free to answer, or if you'd like, I just pass it over to Ian Toner.
I just want to clarify, Labor and Standards was only hearing the case to say that it did not have to meet handicap requirements, correct?
That's correct, but the basis for the handicap requirement was the same issue that this board is addressing today, whether or not the permanence of the vehicle is triggering of those requirements.
So if they you ever see the hot dog carts in Center City?
That's right.
If
19th and Walnut.
They're all over the place, yeah, which is good. I like it there. When you're there for more than 180 days, you're considered permanent?
If a cart was to stay, and Mr. Scaria could probably answer this better than I, but if a cart were to stay permanent, parked there for 180 days, I would assume if the same logic applied, it would be considered permanent. But that's a question for L&I.
For usually those stands, they're not really on a site. They're usually on a sidewalk or outside the property line. So that's streets department's problem.
Oh, okay. Well, they're on the sidewalk, right?
Yeah, so we
are.
don't, the only thing that I would say that we kind of got involved with were the streeteries, because that was an actual structure that was there for more than 100 days during COVID.
Okay.
But, usually structures that are within, the sidewalk or outside the lot lines, that's streets departments.
This ain't a street, okay?
That's what, yeah, but that's within a site, so that's the reason why it came to us. More than
Oh,
180
because it's
days,
only
and
like,
that's
you
caused
go up
issues.
that little hill, you see that little hill, and right
Yep,
there
and
is
that's
the
the street
street.
right there.
Yeah.
So, but see, like before you hit that grass median, I'm pretty sure you're within the site, within the lot lines, and that's kind of why it's our jurisdiction now.
That is correct.
Oh.
It's within the lot line, and there's a discrete description in the lease. But again, this could be moved 10 feet on any given day within the tether of its electric line.
Right.
So, by any definition, it is not permanent. Or in the same location potentially.
Question for Hillary. The comment that Harry made in terms of this board being bound by determination by the Pennsylvania L&I, which I believe it's labor and industry unless they change the name. Is that accurate?
So I have to look at the letter because I'm not, well, I understand what Mr. Cook is saying in terms of the underlying issue being whether or not it's a permanent structure. It may be a different area of the law. So
Right.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, you can make that argument. If the board went a different way,
Exactly.
then I'm sure it could be, litigated and the state, could decide it. But I think it's the similar issue, but under for the board under the IBC, whereas the accessibility statutes, I would assume, would be either federal or state law.
Yeah, all accessibility refusals have to go in front of the state. We have no jurisdiction on that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that was really, for record purposes. I think, we would like, obviously, for it to be heard on its own merits and for, just common sense to be applied here.
I'm just recalling another case we heard about a trailer. I think it's for a car dealership. And we said that was a temporary structure and they could only keep it up 180 days. Something wants to be a permanent structure, it has to have its own foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, by the 2018 code, is this only allowed there for 180 days? As a temporary?
It would get
Yes.
a different code application. And also just for the purposes of the structure itself, when you have these long spans with center tires, it's to have these supports that are grounded, take a lot of stress off the span and increase the life cycle of the vehicle. So that's another reason why those jacks and supports really need to be there for hardship level.
This isn't the first one there. They had another, there was another one there. And
it was for
It's
years.
the same one. It's the same one.
Oh, it's the same
It's the
one?
same
It's the same one. Excuse me, sir.
Derek,
It
please.
was great. It was great before. I
Yeah,
wrapped it
right,
red.
right.
I bought it from the second owner.
Okay. Yeah, what happened was across the street, Holy Family was going to put
Apartment
dormitories there.
complexes.
And then they dropped out. That would have been a gold mine, if that was there. But well, State Road there, people come up, they stop. There's plenty of parking for them to get out, get a bacon and egg and things like that. I personally don't have a problem with it.
And pardon me, and that's the big issue. I've been fighting this for almost 3 years.
It's been there.
It's been here over for 10.
Yeah, it's been there for a long time. I used to stop every day.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have to recuse myself. The way I used to get bacon and eggs there every day.
Please no. And he does have a captured audience there. And unfortunately, one of the terms of his lease is that he has to provide 15 meals to the landlord every month. And thankfully, the landlord hasn't enforced that term as of yet.
You're on that. I don't know what they have back there now. It used to be a couple buildings that you're on their property right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the they have like a thrift store now, and then it's the and now they have like a truck auto spot now.
Yeah. I don't. Does anybody have a problem with it?
I do think we should caucus for a few.
Could we just bring Mr. Toner in to show at least some of the good faith efforts we have made to meet the 2018 building code standards?
Sure.
Ian, are you
Thanks.
there?
Yep, I'm here. Maybe you can just scroll to the drawings.
Sure. Let me get to that.
So a couple of the issues that were brought up during review that don't meet the code as a building was the entrance. It was like, it's a little pointy metal, it's the hitch to get onto the truck. And so we're providing a new landing and steps outside that entrance door at the end of the trailer so that it's a safe way to get in and out. And part of that was motivated by the fact that the service counter is much too high to meet the ADA. So the idea would be that customers, if they can't reach the counter, Mr. Penson will be able to quickly get outside, take their order, go inside, make the food, bring it back out, and not have to kind of rush across a dangerous entrance and exit from the trailer. The second thing was the restroom. There's really nothing we can do to make the restroom any bigger. There are some clearances inside that are a little bit under what you would want in a commercial building kitchen. Again, there's nothing we can do to make the trailer bigger without making it something else. So the landing is really the main thing, and that was partially just, it's what we can do, but it also will make it safer to serve the customers who aren't able to reach the counter and serve themselves.
And that landing is removable and not permanent. It wouldn't.
That's right. It'll just kind of rest over the existing structure of the trailer, and it can just be lifted off if needed.
The only issue that would require scheduling to be able to move it would be to get in touch with Pico, schedule up a disconnect, move it, and then reschedule a connect.
Right. The accessibility board specifically said in the meeting that they were concerned about setting any kind of precedent for requiring it, because they talked about, well, in the context of what they were concerned about, what if we required them to put a table outside with condiments and forks and knives and things like that? And then they kind of backed off and said, well, if we require it here, why wouldn't we require it of every food truck? And the fact of the matter is, even with the electrical connection, you could just push it 10 feet closer to the utility pole and it would have technically been moved. So they kind of felt like it was, for them, it was kind of a silly discussion that we were even talking about it in the first place. We're dealing with different issues here, and I understand that, but that's kind of where they landed on it during their conversation.
Not dissimilar as it relates to permanence.
Right.
Okay, you want to caucus?
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem.
Quickly, John Dimes, any comments or concerns?
Sorry, I was on the mute. No, I'm fine with me. From our perspective, I mean, we inspect food trucks sometimes. Obviously, the issue here is permanency of it. It's a parking lot. If there's no, is it a parking lot? It looks like a parking lot to me.
Yes.
Vehicle protection around it, something like that. But like Wayne was saying, he's familiar with the location, and that hasn't been the case in over a decade. But is there a hazard, especially if there's propane tanks? What's the fuel on there? Is it propane?
Yes, sir.
It is. There was it 2 100-pounders you got on there?
Yes, sir.
And real couple quick questions. Do you fry in that truck?
Yes, sir.
You have a K extinguisher or an automatic?
I've had alert one for the last 2 years that I've been going for this case. I've had alert one coming each year, and they have tagged me each year.
Okay. All right. But yeah, besides that, I would be good, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Okay, everybody back in? Ted? All right, we're gonna go along with the variance because we believe that if it needed to be moved, it could be moved. And that's what we feel, okay? And so whatever you're doing, good luck, and when you open it up.
Thank you.
I'm only kidding. I don't,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
You too,
Thank
guys.
you.
Everybody have a good
Thank
holiday,
you.
whatever it
Thank
is.
you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, we have the next one. 1904 North Second Street.
Yes,
Are we
sir.
ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how many people are with 1904 North Second?
There are two of us. My name is Josh Horvitz.
Hey, Jeff, are you a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we don't have to swear you in. Is anybody testifying? Not a lawyer.
Yep, my client.
I'm not a lawyer.
Justin
Are
Lewis.
you not a lawyer? Okay, raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ed August, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
James
Okay.
Correa, Department of License Inspections.
All right, Phil, want to read that into the record, please?
Yes, sir. This is MI 2023-006-904 for the property located at 1904 North Second Street. The appellant is Joshua B. Horvitz, Esquire. He's in the room today.
Okay, Joshua, whoever's gonna start, presenting the case, go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to just do a brief introduction. I'll hand it off to my client to adopt what I've said, and then if he has anything to add, and to, of course, answer any questions that anybody may have. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm here about 1904 North Second Street. As we spoke about, my client just purchased this property this year. He was told in the purchasing process that he bought it as an investment property. It was configured the way it is now. And he was told that the current use was grandfathered in by his realtor and everybody else involved in the transaction. When he went after the closing to pick up rental licenses under his name rather than the old owner, he was told he needed a new zoning permit. The zoning was allowed. He didn't need a variance. The use apparently has been this way for many years. Commercial on the first floor, 2 studio apartments on the second floor, 1 studio apartment on the third floor. But the last zoning permit in the zoning files from 2005 says there were 2 commercial uses on the first floor and 1 single family use above. But of course, at some point, either back then or between 2005 and now, it was reconfigured. It seems maybe it's been this way for a longer time. Basically, the variances we're requesting are because the building is in existence. He's kind of an innocent buyer here. He obviously wouldn't make this mistake again. But it would be prohibitively expensive for him to retrofit. And I'm happy to show you. So I can share my screen and show you. I just did a little. Go ahead. Just a little summary chart of what we're dealing with here today. There's a sprinkler system that needs to be here. The width of the first floor stairs is 2 inches off. The width of the door, 1 door on the second floor, 6 inches off, and the width of an interior hallway is 2 inches off. What the 2018 IBC requires may have been compliant when it was converted this way, but appears not now, although these 2 inch, 6 inches difference don't seem to be a safety issue and seem to be a de minimis difference. There was 1 variance here that we asked for about a 3rd floor common hallway storage closet. When we were speaking with the building examiner, we decided to ask for that variance just so we didn't have to redraw plans before we could get here today, but my client is willing to close up that closet because that one is something that he can do without a larger expense. I'm happy to pull up the plans if that would help. And with that being said, Justin, have you heard what I've said today, and was it true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it was.
And do you adopt my testimony as if it was your own?
Yes, I do. Thanks, Josh.
Anything to add before we hand off to any questions?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Thank you.
So basically,
good. Anybody got any questions?
I got a quick question. This is Lieutenant Diane's fire code. You said it's got 2 1-bedroom apartments and then a studio apartment above a business occupancy. Is that where it stands now?
it's 3 studios. So 2 studios on the second floor. This is the second floor unit here. Let's see if I can center it here for you, with a studio in the front and a studio in the rear. And then on the 3rd floor, there's a studio apartment here.
And the first floor?
On the first floor, there's just 1 commercial. It's a beauty salon, correct, Justin?
Yep, that's correct.
And it's an active, it's in business now?
Yes, it is. There was a tenant in there when I purchased the property.
So is one of your variances not to put in a sprinkler system? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Is it, real quick, I'm sorry, is it fully alarmed? Do you have a full-blown alarm system in there with notification appliances and initiation devices?
Yes, that was certified by Alert One. Josh has the document.
Yeah, so I can pull that up for you now, and that we have the most recent fire certification that's been submitted to Eleanor.
Right now, Atlas shows that there's no rental licenses.
Yeah, and so that's because we can't get the rental license until you were here today. Because you know, they need the both the zoning and the building permit CO, and then rental license comes last.
I'm sorry, is the salon still active right now?
Yes, it is.
Yes, okay. And I guess there was no architect or anybody consulted prior to purchasing that would have known.
Not prior. I had the plans drawn when I went to get the rental licenses, and L&I informed me that I needed a CO, so that's why I got the plans drawn.
And forgive me if I missed this. I mean, did you actually do any work, or is it the layouts are as they were when you bought it?
This is as it was when I purchased it. Yeah, no work has been done.
Right, and no work is being proposed as part of the application.
Right.
Says no proposed changes here.
I thought the proposed change was to change the first floor, or no?
Nope.
No, no changes are being proposed. Basically, we're just seeking to legalize what's sitting there right now and what was there before he purchased it.
Was there a beauty salon on the first floor?
Yeah.
When you bought it?
It was, yeah. That tenant was in place when I purchased the property.
Yeah, with its own entrance. Correct.
Yep.
And there's a 1 hour fire separation between units and between horizontally between the beauty salon and the upstairs units as well, I guess. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, as far as I could tell, yes.
Yes.
I read through the plans, yeah.
Is there, I'm sorry, I can't see it really well. Is there a common hallway?
Yes, so I'm gonna pull that up now. Here's
Are there doors that lead to the hall? I mean, from the hallway, out the units, down the stairs and out the front door? How it work?
Yep, so here's the first floor, which shows the entrance in the front, and you walk up the stairs here. And one of the variances we're asking for is this is 2 inches narrower than it's supposed to be, but there is a 1 hour fire rated wall separating the commercial space from the entrance for the residential tenants. And that goes up to the second floor. So they come up the stairs here. And then there's a hallway here where you could go left or right to either of the 2 studios. And again,
Do you know if those doors are self-closing and latching and they're 45-minute rated? Fire doors?
yeah, so there was no variance request, so
Yes.
we can pull up the refusal, but there was no variance needed for those. I actually spent a good deal of time about looking into whether this comment about this door indicated anything about a radius, and it was clear after reading it that there was no radius issue. It was just the width of the door issue.
No, he was talking about the rating of the door. It looks like the cover page shows
Yeah, we
shows
did.
the rating.
Sure.
I think I read that when you were
Yeah.
looking down.
Yeah, it
So
says
door
1 hour.
separating to be 1 hour rated, self-closing.
Yeah.
So that's what it says.
Yeah, there you go. And so that's all existing.
And similar on the third floor? Yeah, up there.
So, and we have some pictures at the end of the plans if you want to see them. On the third floor, the only variance needed was for the hallway closet, which is because it's in what's considered a fire stairwell. They didn't want a closet, and so Mr. Lucas is willing to close it off.
Oh, what's the use of that closet? Just,
It's currently not in use, I don't think.
I mean, you could have it open into the studio there, you know,
Right.
right there. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, good point.
close it off in the hallway.
either way, he'll revise the plans to make sure it's compliant as to that issue. Whether he decides to make a part of the studio or just lose the couple square feet.
Are there separate meters for the different units, electric meters or other meters?
They're not. There are 2 electrometers for the building.
Okay. All right, so there's no historic evidence of it having been multi-units.
Can you show the pictures so we can get a sense
Sure.
of how old it looks?
So let me zoom out a little bit. Here is apartment 1 in the rear. And then here's apartment 2. And this is the third. That's the extent of the pictures we had, the ones that were on the plans. And there's a picture of the front of the building on the first page.
So it looks like the previous owner did a lot of work, but didn't pull any permits.
And here, Yang.
It looks like the previous owners did a lot of work, but didn't pull any permits.
Yeah, that's the way it looks.
Yeah, Chase, I assume there's no earlier permits that were pulled at any time.
I looked, no, I mean, even the previous history, I found an old CO, and that called out the single family dwelling back in 2000, so there was no history of even 2 units or 3, so.
Well, we mean residential, right? There's always the history of the commercial and then
The commercial, yeah, the commercial, it was a first floor commercial with a single family dwelling above but I have been seeing the zoning permits, but I mean, the stuff that I even saw, like the certificate of occupancy back in 2000, they even called out a, let me give you the exact wording.
Single family, yeah.
Yeah, it was given out October 31st, 2000, beauty salon on the first floor level and single family dwelling on the upper floor.
So from that time period, then there would have been a change of use based on the multiple units up top from an R3 to an R2, right?
Exactly, yep. So it was changed definitely after 2000. But I don't see any other permit history in terms of alterations. Converting it.
Was it church at one point also?
Oh.
That's so.
Church?
Yeah.
So the use is permitted under the zoning code. What we're basically asking for is a variance because as an innocent buyer, not realizing that the use wasn't actually permitted, it now has to comply with the most recent building code, and there are these technical differences. The couple inch difference on a wall that's a 1 hour fire rate, what they have to move the whole wall over would be a big disruption to everybody and a big expense. For 2 more inches of width, that doesn't seem to be a real safety issue. Of course, if he built it today, he would add the extra 2 inches. And the fire sprinklers to retrofit them would just be prohibitively expensive and unanticipated, and it's been this way for a long time, and we don't believe it's a fire hazard, and we're asking for the board's deference and discretion to allow. Basically it's a hardship. It's that he'd have to make all these retrofitted changes to property he bought. They're basically turnkey. All the tenants are in place, are safe and otherwise happy.
Justin, do you own other properties?
I have a single family home as well.
In Philadelphia, right?
In Philadelphia, yep. I purchased that in 2017 or 2015.
The caucus?
Next time he's got to call me first,
Yes.
so that, you know. I
Yeah,
know.
this is my first foray into mixed use. And I used a realtor that I met through a friend. He, like Josh said this should all be grandfathered in. The previous owner was also a realtor. I don't think he made the changes, but in talking to the tenants that he's had there, they've been there with him for the duration of the time he's on the property. So yeah, it's just the history that we're lacking.
How long did he own the property?
He owned it for 3.5 years. He bought it in March of 2020.
Yeah, we've said this before. We really feel that CO should be required when a property is conveyed. We're not going to resolve that today, but see this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Josh said, when I went to get the rental licenses, that's when the CO issue was even brought up to me, brought to my attention. So that's when I called Josh and said, I'm a little bit out of my depth here. I need some help.
Anyone to meet? The caucus?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna caucus. Okay. All right. Okay, hold on. Okay, everybody back in? All right, we have a concern, and the concern is we would like to see an inspection or of the electrical system, that the electrical system is good for all the units that are in there and also the ground floor. That's our one concern. If you can get a contractor to go out and inspect that and say it's that electrical feeds are adequate to run every place, the three residents and the hair salon will be fine with the variance. But we need that before we're going to give you the variance, so we're going to have to continue this until you get the electrical inspection.
And that would be a
Okay,
registered, electrician, not just a general contractor.
So not like the home inspection that I had done before would not be sufficient. You're saying an electrical contractor?
We need to certify, a letter from them that's basically, see
That the system's adequate for what it has to, what the amount of build room or residents and the hair salon. That is adequate.
We considered requiring an electrical permit, but it's somewhat problematic in terms of not having a building permit in place. I don't know, Jace, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it may not be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you would even go about this. You just want to see whether it was a compliant system or not, like they will have to rip out the walls to see what was installed. So I'm not sure how that's gonna in terms of permit wise, right? In terms of permit wise, they could apply for electrical permit.
How big is the service? How big are the circuits going? The number of, they have to make informed judgment.
Yeah, and they could apply for electrical permit, but the problem is they won't issue it out until the building has been resolved. So
right.
So we're not asking for a permit. We're asking for an electrical inspection. All this work was done without a permit. We don't know what was put in plumbing wise. We don't know if any of it's code compliant. There could be extension cords in the walls. You don't know, we don't know, and we're not going to give you the variance without getting a better feeling for this electrical system.
And we're assuming that one of the meters is for the commercial space and the other is for the residential, so that at least those are separated.
Correct.
And if the result of that inspection or process is that things need to be done, then
upgraded or something
obviously
like that.
those
We
upgrades
want that done.
the permitting process, so which makes it a little more convoluted.
Right, well, at least then there'll be work that we would be proposing in a permit application, I guess. So, if there was work needed to be done, this makes sense to me.
And I think we're okay with the dimensional disparities, whatever. Was there anything else? Oh, the closet, did we want that closet?
Closed from the hallway,
From the
and you can enter
hallway,
the
it could be
closet
opened
from
into
the
the
third
unit.
floor studio unit.
And it was the sprinkler too.
Variance. We
Essentially,
gave
we're continuing this case until we get that electrical inspection.
until we get the electrical.
And then if that's okay, we would waive the sprinkler requirement.
Yes.
It sounds.
Okay.
Justin, is that okay?
Yep, that works. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you
luck.
very much.
We have
Mr. Miller?
one remaining case? Is that?
Yes, could you
Yes,
go 2 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Take 2 minutes. If you got cigarettes, smoke.
And recording off?
Okay. Who's here for the last case?
Hello, my name is Mirush. I'm the owner
Mirush?
of 4801 North 9th Street.
Okay, you by yourself, Marsh?
Yes,
Okay, you're gonna be testifying?
yes,
You're not a lawyer?
no,
Okay, raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
yes, I do.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
Board member.
John Dimes Fire Code.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Jay Scoria, Department of License Inspections.
Okay, Phil, you want to put that into the record?
Yes, sir. This is MI 2023-006-905 for the property located at 4801 North 9th Street. Marush Sanaj, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name, sir, is the appellant. He's present in the room.
Okay, Marush, you ready?
Yes,
Go ahead, pal.
okay, so I bought this property about 1.5 years ago in August of 2022. And I thought it was a triplex, similar to the last person who, the last case. I thought it was a triplex. There are three gas meters on the property, 3 electric meters, and separate entrances for each unit. And I assumed that, you know, it was a three unit building. And similar to the last case, I also I had to go to zoning to get it because it's zoned as a single family currently for some reason, and I had to go to zoning to get a 3-family variance. And after zoning, I went to get the rental license for a three units, and they said to get a certificate of occupancy. And then to get the certificate of occupancy, they said to get an architect and submit plans. I did that, and then the plans examiner for certificate of occupancy said that it must be it has to be the building has to have sprinklers in order to comply with the current code. And that's the reason I'm here today, to request if it's possible to have the building as is, to rent it out for, or to have it stay as 3 units without making modifications. I do have some plans that I can share with you guys, if that's okay.
Sure. Please.
So this is all existing, and this is from the architect. So this is the ground floor here. Can't see that well. So the ground floor, it has 2 entrances and a garage door, and all of this is above ground. There's no basement. So this is a masonry building. The plans examiner told me that this used to be a doctor's office before, but at some point, I think it was converted into a family unit. There's a kitchen. I have some photos as well. You'll see. I haven't touched anything in the building. This is exactly how I bought it. So this is a good size unit. There's a garage as well, bathroom, kitchen, 2 small bedrooms, and a living room. And then the other units are upstairs. So there's a common entrance for the 2 units upstairs. The first floor is also has 2 bedrooms and a balcony and is good size. These are all almost all over 1,000 square feet. So each unit, and this is the 3rd floor unit, also 2 bedrooms, kitchen, and a good size. There's some drawings of, you can see what some renderings of what the building looks like. So the ground floor is above ground. So you can see it has its own separate entrance. All the windows you can easily get out of, or the doors. There's 3 doors at the bottom ground floor, and then there's an entrance for the upstairs over here, and the 2 units upstairs. And so the only reason the CO was denied was because the plans examiner said that the ground floor used to be a doctor's office, and now changing it from doctor's office and 2 units up, 2 dwelling units to 3 dwelling units, I have to get sprinklers for the building. Right now, the only reason I bought this property was because I'm working on another property next door, and trying to renovate that. And that's taken up a lot of my time. I met with a neighbor here and he showed me his, and he retired. He went to a nursing home, and I got this property. I was under the impression that it was 3 units. If it's possible, to get 3 units without the sprinklers, I'd really appreciate that. If not, then at least, I'd like to use the 2 units above, and I can leave this empty. I just don't have the money, I guess, to put into this, renovation, because I'm already spread thin as it is with the other house. And I just that's why I'm here. So
Do you have a picture of the 3 separate meters?
yes, I should. Let me.
And the interiors of the units also.
Yeah, let me share it. So I got a mortgage for this property, and there was an appraisal, and he took some good photos. So
Jace, as a clarification, if you were to use the ground floor as a commercial, as an office space, would that be permitted? Without, that's as of right.
Yep.
Okay.
What if the middle level apartment was extended into the basement, so it was still 2 units? I guess that's
that would require sprinkler coverage,
Yeah.
because you're extending that fire area.
True, okay.
So right now, he currently has a R3 use, and R3 is considered either single family or 2 family.
Right.
If it's just the 2nd and 3rd floor level, and leaves it as is, he doesn't need to sprinkler it. However, when he converts that business occupancy to a residential, now it's considered a residential occupancy, and now converts the building from an R3 to an R2. So that makes the whole building required to be sprinkled. So that's the issue. But with what Marush said at the end, keeping those 2 units, he can keep those 2 units. And if he uses the bottom spot as a commercial space, that is permitted, as long as the fire separation is still there between the residential and the commercial space.
And presumably there would have been a fire separation between the
There
commercial space and
there
the
should have
2nd
been.
floor anyhow, so.
Yeah, there very well might be. I don't know what, without breaking drywall, and I think, I think everything on the when it was a doctor's office, everything was done properly, because there is a history of that, and I just didn't realize that it was, if I had done this again, I would have just left. If it would have been approved for a doctor's office on the 1st floor, I would have just left it commercial on the 1st floor and just gone that route. But there's already a kitchen there, and there's already a bathroom, and you know, it's already separated out. So yeah. So
Excuse
for
me,
the
this is Hillary. I just wanted to make a note because you said this property, the zoning is single family. Sorry.
the zoning at some point was converted to single family, yes. So
Okay.
right now it's single family. So the only
So-
license
Yeah, so so if you were to change it from the three family dwelling, the multifamily dwelling that you got from the zoning board and wanted to change one of those to a commercial, you either have to do some sort of amendment or adjustment, or it's L&I's call, but you may also have to go back to the zoning board. It would depend. I don't know if you can just change one to commercial. I think they would send you back to the zoning board, right? Jace, does that sound right? I think I've seen cases like that.
Do you know what the zoning district is?
it's residential. It's RSA 5.
Okay, yeah, you definitely need to go back
So-
because a commercial wouldn't be permitted if you.
Okay.
I know. So this is in a very tricky situation where I can waste another year, you know, going back to zoning to convert it to an office if that's what it's allowed to be. I'm not even sure at this point, because even if I go for an office and I'd have to remove the kitchen, you know, I'd probably, if I'm making modifications, I'd probably be required to do extra stuff anyway. And I own the building in the back over there that I'm currently renovating. And I work full time in IT, so this is my, you know, I'm just trying to invest my money, and I'm already spread thin as it is. So I don't even mind, you know, if the variance isn't granted for 3 family, I don't mind a 2 family, and just letting the ground floor be vacant for now, and you know.
What's the alarm systems situation there? Can you describe that?
Sure. There's an existing alarm system throughout the building. It's hardwired. There's a pull station at each entrance, and there's alarms on each unit. Right now there's only 1 family living there on the first floor. I haven't I haven't hooked up the alarm system, or I don't know what certifications are required, but there's no problem doing that and getting that certified. But yeah, so there is an existing alarm system and pull station on each unit.
And I believe in your appeal, you said there's sorry, I'm lost my train of thought here. Yeah, that there are 3 meters for the building.
Yes. Let me pull those up. I can show you those. There are 3 right now. I paid 3 PICO bills and 3 PGW bills, and they're already separated. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go back to my zoning packet here. I think I had it in here. So this was when I requested it from zoning. Sorry. So this is the entrance to the ground floor. So these are the electric meters. There are 3, basement, first floor, second floor. And then there are 3 gas meters. It's hard to tell in this photo, but there's a 2-inch gas pipe or 2.5-inch gas pipe. Everything is almost all gas. Most of it is gas. The heating is gas. The stoves are gas. The only thing that's electric is really the lights and the outlets. But these are separated out. Yeah. So this was the whole reason I thought these were 3 units.
Sorry, when you said basement, first floor, second floor, is it ground floor, second floor, third floor? Is that?
Yeah, it's hard because they in my for Pico, for example, they call the ground floor basement, but really it's above ground.
Yeah.
So there are 3 units. It's the ground floor, first floor, second floor is what I call it, just to make things easier. But yeah, the 3 boilers here, you can see those. The 2 boilers and furnace, and there are 3 water heaters here. So yeah. And all of this, it was existing. I didn't touch any of this. You know, these are pretty old, not old, but they have been here before I bought them. And this was the appraisal, appraiser sketch when I went to purchase the property. Yeah, he also assumed it was 3 units. Again, so the only thing is that if I would have been able to get a 2-family rental license, I would have just done that and not been here, but I wasn't able to do that at all. So no matter what, I had to come here, and I really don't want to go back and request commercial because I know that's going to be a lot of trouble for me. And it's going to be another year where I can't rent any of the units really. So I'm sort of in a tough situation where, I'm not able to use them.
Your
All right.
appraiser missed the laundry room on the porch on the back, so you can ask him to increase the value.
Yes, he missed a few things, but it was just a sketch. But yeah, so if you have any questions, if anybody else has any questions, I put in combined smoke and carbon monoxide detectors on each floor. I'm certified for housing choice voucher program as a landlord, and I got an inspection for that. There's a lead safe certificate that I also got, everything except the rental license, which is why I'm here today. And like I said, if it's a problem for the 3rd dwelling, I don't, if I can just have the 2 units above at least, so I can rent those out, that would be good for me.
You want to call this, Ted?
Well, wait, before we go, Jace, so could you do that as is, just not, say the first floor is commercial but not rent it out? Or just not rent it out?
He would need to change the zoning. I think you can, Hillary, I'm pretty sure you could reduce it down to a 2-family dwelling. And then maybe we could do an affidavit restricted use for the basement. I mean, for the ground floor level. You're on mute, by the way, Hillary.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, you could definitely amend it. You could definitely amend it down.
Right.
And then yeah, that's L&I's piece. I'm not as familiar with that, but I know you can amend it. You could amend it down for the zoning permit, and then this wouldn't, if you did 2, it wouldn't even be an issue with the sprinklers.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
I mean technically that would. I mean, as long as you didn't, drop down to the basement, then, because technically they could, you could have 2 units and have one of them include the basement, but then like you said, that increases the fire area,
Right.
and you trigger the sprinklers again.
So Marisha, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to do an amendment to the zoning, right? You do a 3 to a 2-family, right? But now for the ground floor, you're gonna have to, I'm just saying this is like the fastest way to get it done. If you want to get a 2-unit one, and then get an affidavit of restricted use. So that's basically saying that there's gonna be no occupancy on the ground floor level, unless. But that you have to have access to like the maintenance stuff, right? And then you can get the permit that way. You get the amendment for the zoning, and then you would get the CO for the 2-family, right? Or you're gonna have to go back to the zoning board. And right now, I think the waiting period is around 6 months, right, Hillary? If we were to go now.
Yeah,
Mish,
5 to 6 months. Yeah.
But
even
could
if
you
it was
leave the zoning in place and get the affidavit of restricted use for the lowest level?
No, because what happens is it'll still be considered a 3-family in R2. So that would require the whole building to be sprinklered.
Okay.
Everything's got to match.
Yeah. So the fastest way to do it is the way that I was telling you, amend it to a 2-family, and then do an affidavit of restricted use for the ground floor level, and then file a new application for zoning, and then in the back end and file a new application to do 2-family on top with a commercial on the bottom, and then go back to the zoning board that way. But yeah.
Fastest way is like a bullet in a sprinkler system. Okay.
Or the fastest way is the sprinkler system, yeah.
All right, we're gonna excuse
We're gonna
ourselves.
caucus.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna grant you a variance that you don't need sprinklers due to being consistent in what we do with this board. One of the reasons is because you could show the 3 meters for the water and the gas. But our concern is we want to make sure that the alarm system is in compliance what it should be.
Yes, absolutely. I can make sure that somebody comes and inspects it and get it certified and make sure that it's turned on. No problem at all. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to say? Ted, Amy?
No, the difference between you and the previous case was really that you have 3 meters and you could show us that.
That's how we try to be consistent like
And it's
that.
older. The case before us, everything was brand new. So
Yes, I
somebody
definitely.
had done all that work without a permit and.
Yes.
Concerning.
This was all existing. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate your time and consideration.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.